According to the World Economic Forum, the report was that the study shows three different groups: build, grow, and shift. So these are the economy low-income nations. House 46% of the world's people have low material consumption and struggle to meet so meet basic social requirements. So basic requirements is like food, clothes, house, education, materials, and medicine. So middle-income grow countries are quickly industrializing and growing middle-class consumers, 51% of materials. And then world's highest income shift nations deliver high standards of living and consumes 31% of the materials of the world. The report illustrates how circular solution may decrease material extraction. So there is a old hubs, solar power, cooling as a service solution. So Nigeria, they build this old hubs, a post-harvest solar power cooling as a service solution makes food waste a thing of the past and lowers emission in the process. This is the website here, and this 1 square meter old house storage reserves foods for 21 days, and 54 unit old house saves more than 42,000 tons of food from going wastage. That is equivalent to over 1 million kilograms of carbon dioxide. Farmers, when they grow a lot of fruits, vegetables, and all this, they harvest. And then after that, they don't have place where they can store. And then it gets bad. And they are not able to get the money, whatever they spent. So this is the very, very good model that if we have this kind of storage just to store, and then also that they are using everything is natural, so it will be good. So this is a very good example, and I'm giving you about in India, because 1.3 billion people lives there, and most of the 70% people are depending on agriculture. So what they do, if they grow potatoes in the season, then potatoes, because they cannot sell everything that time, but they don't have cooler, cooling store where they can keep their tomatoes, potatoes, and all this. And then after that, they feel they are not happy, they lose all the money, whatever they work hard. So that's why we should have, every village, every town, wherever farmers are there, we should build that facility so it will help to save them, to be more inspired. Why in India, some of them, they don't want to do the agriculture because they learn money from there. So they want to have white collar jobs, regular jobs, so they can earn more money. So that's why they have to do it. So, but this can be very profitable. Like now, another thing is that this is the hospital, award-winning hospital in Bangladesh, Shyamnagar, Bangladesh, and what they have did. Friendship Hospital was built using local sustainable material and craftsmen with equal access to healthcare. The architects adapted river line landscape to the surrounding by building a canal that cuts across the hospital premises, providing natural cooling and separating inpatients and outpatients. 2 water tanks at every end of the canal hold rainwater collected outside. Now you see here in this picture, you see they are collecting the rainwater. So what happens? We have water crisis. We need Especially in Malta also, you see, we have, here very dry place. So in the whole world, because water level is going down, and then we have drinking water problems. So it can, like irrigation. For irrigation, we can use the rainwater for irrigation. So if we can collect rainwater and it can be used, then we know we can grow. Here there is limitation of using the groundwater in Malta because if there will be problems if we will use lot. So that, but the solution is if we can have rainwater collected and used for irrigation, so that is fine, good. We can grow the local economy. We can have agriculture locally. Now another example is electrifying Kathmandu Nepal's cabs. We are talking about eco-transportation. Air quality of Kathmandu, Nepal suffers poor air quality due to high pollution in the city, congested roads, due to lack of transport management. Safa Tempo, a battery-powered three-wheel public transport was introduced in the 1990s in Kathmandu, Nepal, creating 750 jobs. So, and then more, they are giving more jobs. This is like a vehicle and with electricity, powered by electricity. So electric car, we have electric, all this, now air pollution is a lot in Kathmandu, Nepal. Nepal is also a small country beside India. So it's a neighboring country. And then they have a lot of air pollution, but it's a beautiful city, beautiful mountain area. But now this is helping there with this eco-transport. This is the Kathmandu city. Now, plant-based diets can also help. Okay, now another example is Brazilian cosmetics brand helps specific on deforestation. So Brazil contributes to 33.12% of the tropical deforestation due to industrial livestock production. And now this company, Natura, produces cosmetics with ingredients obtained from the Amazon rainforest. However, Natura was an unconventional corporate model. It follows the expanding forest viewpoint that advocates that a tree has more much value standing up than being chopped down. This idea has conserved approximately 2 million hectares of rainforest while channeling natural income to local societies. You see, so this because this is the lungs of whole world. Amazon forest, they are cutting trees, and when they are cutting trees, there will be lack of oxygen, So this, some of the companies, if they help for the forestation, then it will be good for environment. Okay. So shifting economies away from consumption and waste. So higher income shift countries are heavy consumers. So eco transport, Netherlands become the global bicycle capital. Bicycle, we have all these countries, they are promoting, bicycle, traveling by bicycles, and many people are using in Belgium and Denmark also, some other countries also. And Malta, they are giving with bus ride, you have, bicycles you can get also. So this is that. And France was the first European Union nations to introduce a repair rating for products such as television, smartphones, lawn mowers, and laptop computers. What they have been doing, if you go and repair, they will give you vouchers, money for that. Like if you are going to repair washing machine, they will give you 25 euro. If you go for laptop, they will give you money. So they are encouraging. So France is helping like that. Okay, let us see if you can see the examples. Okay, this is where is Can we do this bigger?
Maybe you can.
We have to go on YouTube to full screen. It's okay. It's okay.
This is a bicycle. Luxembourg is also free. Okay, now you see France. So, I want to ask you, do you repair your, do you have, in your country, do you find that you can repair your mobile phone, laptops, washing machine, or your, yes?
I know in Estonia it has gotten really popular that we have several companies who buy used phones and they repair them and then they sell them for cheaper back to people. And it has gotten super popular, so I think in Estonia people are quite good at it. But I personally also I try to take the most out of my old phone, so I don't see the need to update my phone every year.
So, which country?
Estonia.
Estonia. Okay, very good. And
In Croatia, I think telecom companies, you can give them mobile phones, but I don't think you right now they give you any money back. They use it for lithium, for new batteries, so they don't destroy nature breeding it. So it's also a good, I think we had a box full of old phones, so we try to recycle it and give it to them, and I hope they really reuse it again for new phones and batteries. And also we have Roman people who are collecting the old devices in home. So we also give it to them, and they really dig everything they can do to sell.
Yeah, they're the best in circular economy. I would like to share some information regarding the last part of this video. It was mentioned that soon all mobile phones will have the same charger, the C port. It's actually one of the Croatian member of the EU Parliament was one of the initiators of that. Biljana Borzan, she's a social democrat, it's important to say. Also, one of the problems regarding the changing the devices is that she was also one of the initiators, because devices are made, I don't know, you get the guarantee for 2 years.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, after 2 years, it gets broken. And the repair is, I don't know, 300 euros. For 300 euros, you can buy a new one. Yeah, so that's a problem.
Yeah, but not just only that. For example, in Germany, they have been saying this for years, that they, I don't know the term in English, but they call it obsolescence. So it's like they know exactly after 2 years, in 1 day or 1 week or 1 month, it will go broke. It will just be, you can't use it anymore. And one thing that they realized, for example, the electric toothbrush that they have created, that sometimes you can't even change the battery or the charger, because they are so manufactured you can't open it. So you are actually forced to buy a new electric toothbrush or just like the head of it. So even though it's illegal, because the law in Germany that you're not allowed to do that, if you go to every drugstore, every electronic, and if you want to buy a certain toothbrush, they all have the same thing. So it's kind of weird that the law says you're not allowed to do it, still you have all the products to do it. So it's like, how is that even possible? I mean, they are more and more like, sometimes they say, oh, you can't change the battery, but then they sell you the charger for the battery. But even the charger after a while gets broken. So it's like, they always find some sort of loophole to create a new electric devices, and at the end of the day you need it. So in terms of being able to brush your teeth, or you just do it regular and usually just with your hands and all that stuff. But it's kind of weird. But it's not just only toothbrush, but this was something that was pretty much back in the day that I talked about. That it became more and more with the toothbrush and industry, let's put it that way. And then of course you see it on phones, you see it on laptops, certain things you just can't prepare yourself unless you know someone who's some sort of engineering, electrics. It's like, I can do this by myself. But how many people? It's also funny because sometimes they have this during the talks to the guarantee. They say if you open it by yourself and try to repair, then all of a sudden say, oh, they take the guarantee back, so then they blame it on you. So many people are even afraid to try to repair themselves in order to avoid losing some sort of rights to maybe return the item or some sort of the money back. But you are not allowed to do it. We can see if you have opened it by yourself.
For example, like in US, they introduced the right to repair. I mean, they used to, of course, check if you open the phone, open the laptop. Now you have the right to repair, so they can't like take your, how to say,
Warranty.
They will take your warranty they want, and you can try to repair it. And also, it's nice to hear that a deputy from Croatia was in this battle, because they want to release Apple, which I thought it was impossible, because Apple wants their own things. So they wanted a lightning cable, but the new iPhones will have like the Type-C port, so nice. I'm just angry against the tobacco industry, because now they're selling like these use and throw like e-cigs. And when people, I live in Milan, and it's some sort of fashion to buy it, And when I see people, I just get angry. I mean, you're buying this thing with electric components, a lithium battery, you use it for 1 day, then you throw it. And this is just like not normal waste, it's exceptional waste. I mean, they have to take out the battery and the electronic parts. So if you throw it like in the bin, like everybody does, it will be never recycled. And I just don't get how is it possible. I feel like the cigarettes companies are always, let's say, over the law, over something, over the conception of people. Because everybody knows that it's important to recycle, almost everybody, of course, also in Italy. But also in Italy, in my city, Milan, everybody has this cigarette. And when you ask them, they are like, yeah, it's cool. So I just can't understand. I mean, we should do something about it, but I don't know what.
I think right now everything is trend. We
Yeah.
oh, this is trend, I will use it. And we don't even think about the problems we can get, especially health problems by smoking that kind of device, because it's not researched yet how it affects the lungs and everything in your body. I think it's just a trend, and that's why people don't have that critical thinking. What is that, and why will I use it, and how will I dispose it later? I think that's the biggest problem right now.
Yeah. And I'm not even talking about your health because it's the problem of a country because they will have to cover you, of course. But it's also your problem. I'm just thinking about this. After 1 year, this big pack of E6, like big one, that you created as a waste. What the fuck?
But I think it's also connected because I know in Estonia you are obligated to recycle them, and there are some specific places where you can
Yeah, of course.
bring them. And at least in Estonia people do that.
Yeah, in Estonia, in Italy, I just to tell you now, they don't do it.
Yeah.
For
Estonia is another planet.
For example, I know that for IQOS, you know IQOS, you can, when it's old, it's not working well, you can take it back to the service point and you'll get like 15 or 20% off for the new device. So that's kind of a good idea to take it back and they will probably reuse it, recycle it
Also,
somehow.
IQOS is reusable, like the design.
Yeah, but
These
also,
ones are just closed, so you just throw it
yeah, I
away.
know.
Anybody? This side? Wants to say?
Sadly, we don't have these initiatives in Lithuania.
Huh?
Sadly, we don't have these initiatives in Lithuania. We would be more than happy to use those opportunities to recycle better. But yeah, we don't have like reimbursements for.
One thing that we do have, that was already mentioned, in most of the shops you can bring your old laptop or other kind of smart device and you get a discount for a new one. And also I would say like a fast fashion of these devices and gadgets are very popular in Lithuania. We do have to buy like a new iPhone every year.
And also something that was mentioned, we also have a lot of people that have secure
I don't think we, in Croatia we have those kind of discounts.
No, they just take it from us.
Yeah, so I guess we're the worst.
I mean, in Germany it's the same. Like maybe you have small shops, for example. You know, like they sell phones, mostly old phones, they repair and all that stuff. But I've never been there before because I also like my last phone I had. People still look at me like I'm coming from the Middle Ages. I had it for 6 years, so I really used it until the end. It didn't work because I don't see the need to buy every year a new iPhone or a new Samsung or whatever. And it's kind of weird sometimes that even if it's the own brand, as you mentioned, like if you have compared, let's say you have the iPhone from 2016, you can't even use the same cable for the iPhone of 2018. So it's like there is a system, and because you said you don't have this in Lithuania, I think we also have to ask another question: why you don't have it? Why certain countries don't have it? And I think it's important to talk about companies who prevent this from doing. Because when you go to the south of Germany, for example, in Bavaria, or Baden-Württemberg, it is the monopoles and the lobbies in the car industry. So it's yes, people use bikes, and people try to do that, but there are certain laws, the companies and the politicians who sometimes they are in the Bundestag, and yet they also have a seat on the board of chairmen. So like, how is that possible? You can't be the minister of Bavaria, for example, and at the same time you sit at the Mercedes-Benz or BMW, and then you're wondering why there's still certain laws according to cars are not. For example, Germany is famous for having the Autobahn, and you can drive as fast as you want, but activists, especially climate change activists and other politicians and many NGOs have been saying this for decades, that Germany needs an Autobahn limit of the highway, the freeway, for carbon to CO emissions. So it's like, you are still fast when you drive 120 kilometers. Why do you have to drive 200 kilometers or 240 kilometers? So like, as long as you don't create certain accidents, but this is about cars and all that, but there must be a reason. Like, all the other countries have a limit, but Germany doesn't. Because there's also the huge automobile industry that doesn't want this, because somehow it takes your freedom away. You can't be able to drive 200 kilometers an hour. Seriously.
It's not a selection, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but speaking of this, why Lithuania or other countries don't have, you know, special offers for reselling, I think it's a cultural thing because
Yeah.
in Lithuania it's really popular. Just there's sites where you can just resell to other people your old phone or old car or old whatever, and the same is with clothes, you know. So we have this, like, our Lithuanian community itself has like this reselling culture.
So there's no need to implement it by the law. And it's always part of the culture.
Yes, sure. I think that's like what we're talking about. You don't need a new phone every year. Why? If I want a new phone, I'm gonna buy it. That's not a problem. The problem is that you don't know where to dispose the old phone, and that you don't know what has been done with the old phone. Everyone is talking about, I don't know, have your phone for 20 years. That's not possible. You can't even have a laptop now for 1 year because it's too old. It's not gonna work. But you know, and do something with your old laptop. What am I supposed to do with your old laptop? I'm not a technician.
Yeah.
There should be someone who should do something with that laptop, who knows what to do. I only know one example how your old phone can be used, and I would like to hear from anyone how, for example, an old washing machine can be used again. So for diabetics, old phones that are not used are used for their insulin pump because it doesn't have to be that strong. So it's just enough that they type, I don't know, the insulin that is then produced, imported in the body. But I don't know, for what can we use an old washing machine?
I used to use my old laptop as a table.
Okay. Of course.
I mean, when I'm like in my bed and I'm chilling, I don't want my laptop to touch the seat, so I'm just use my old laptop to have it like on the bed.
It's like contemporary art.
Yeah. It's like the CDs that you don't use anymore and you put your coffee on the top.
Also in Lithuania, all the washing machines drum
Mhm.
we use as a grill.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
And they don't have that many.
You have cooked it for separate parts and smell it.
It's
You
not
don't even have to
consistent on
use
what,
just the time and means to it and roll. Wow. Yeah, we did it.
It's a test. Chestnuts, for bacon chestnuts.
I want to add something. Malta is also believe on the recycle or circular economy, and they started many projects like they fix a lot of machine recycling for the plastic bottle for recycling, and they also plan new projects for this. Thank you.
But after a while, they break down. And also another issue is that, for example, if you have a phone that's, for example, I don't know, 5 years old, after a while they stop updating the operation system.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I don't think it's like out of evilness in that sense. Like it's just that if you have like so many different versions of operating systems, at some point it's not possible because it's too much work to update all of them. So in that sense, like we have to like choose if we're going to stick to one operating system or if we keep updating them, and we just have to acknowledge that yeah, the phones are gonna get like wasted because of this. And also, but I know that Apple, for example, they made their operating systems slower on purpose. But it's not the same
also.
Huh?
Android also
Yeah.
does that.
Yes, yes.
That you can exchange plastic bottles and glass bottles in some supermarkets. You can get some points to buy stuff, but the amount is really small. Like comparing to Germany, that does the same thing. That they have more.
25 cents.
Yeah, it's like 5 times more the amount of money. So the motive is bigger for Germany. For Greece, I don't know like one person that does this. One good thing about Greece is that in the main cities we have trash bins and recycle bins all over the city. Like you can access them every other block or so. And it's one thing that I haven't seen like in most of the European countries. They really have like scattered bins. Some cities don't have bins like in the Eastern Bloc or a lot of other like European countries, cities. And also, I was in Florence 1 week ago, and actually for the bins they have some keys, so tourists cannot really dump their trash or recycle or third citizens. Also in the Netherlands, they love the bins.
Yeah, we have also city arts, like in Bologna, and yeah, it's okay.
And some countries like US, I show in cartridge, you can get some money, so it can be done, But if company like provide some money for those used stuff, so then people will be more inspired. So maybe we need to encourage, we need to talk to government and write to government, petition, or and companies. They should try to have those companies who are providing. So they should try to encourage and give more incentive to all the consumers.